Cool. Today we are going to be talking about calories because it's a pretty important topic, and I think there's a lot of open discussion. And you know, ultimately we're not here to say who's right and who's wrong. It's just good, fun, open discussion, and maybe share our perspective, because it is only our perspective. And I don't know, man, fire away. What do you...
Well, me personally, when I look at it from a scientific point of view, counting calories, it doesn't make sense. It honestly doesn't make sense, because each element of food has a different calorie index or base, and they all react different within the body.
Yeah, it's a different metabolic response, isn't it?
It's all different.
So obviously the body responds differently whether you're consuming fats or proteins or carbohydrates or even alcohol.
Yeah. So yeah, you throw alcohol in there and the body reacts different. It still has calories, but the body will react completely different as if you've had alcohol in the body or if you haven't.
Yeah. So I think people don't realize actually that with alcohol, it's not just the fact that it is a sugar or a carbohydrate, but pretty much every single bodily function, including fat loss and metabolism, stops, so we can focus on processing the toxins and the alcohol out of the body. And how many hours will it take for the body to process 3 or 4 standard drinks?
Hours?
Yeah, so it depends on the size of the individual and the size of the drinks, but a standard drink, you're still looking at, on average, 1, maybe for women, 2 hours for every standard drink. So think about it this way, it's not just processing the alcohol, it's also undoing all the great work that you've done the week before, because now your body's shut down.
It literally stops everything until the alcohol, to that poison, is out of your body. So if you eat before you drink, that food sits there. It won't be digested until the alcohol has left your body.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
And so as far as how the body reacts and metabolizes, say, fats versus carbohydrates. Different or the same?
Different.
Absolutely.
Totally different.
Yeah.
You know, you have such a small insulin spike when you have fat, and such a huge insulin spike when you have carbohydrates. And if you're having 500 or 1,000 calories of that, it's going to be completely different within the body. The body's going to break it down, metabolize it completely different, but yet you're still having 1,000 calories. So yeah, for me, it doesn't really make sense to count these calories.
Yeah, and I think that's where we start to look at not just the caloric intake on a daily basis, because you know, this is what has got a lot of people, and I think it makes people confused, which I think is actually the whole initial plan of nutrition, is to confuse the public so that you never know what you're doing is right or wrong. I mean, if you look at a standard food label, they are telling us that all the food labels are based on a recommended daily intake of 2,000 calories. I mean, that's insane. I eat between 1,000, 1,500, sometimes 2. I still eat carbohydrates. Carbohydrates aren't bad. I still have buffets. I still eat chocolate and sweets. So there are other factors at play. There are other scientific principles, right?
I generally eat 1 meal a day, you know, and that's it. And people say to me, how can you be so big and be this size? Like, I weigh 95 kilos and eat 1 meal a day. You know, because it's not, you know, I'm not counting those calories. It's about the time and what I eat rather than how much I eat.
Yeah, and to be honest, usually when we're counting calories, I think it's good overall to have some awareness and education of how many calories are in certain types of food, just for general education, so you're not over consuming, right? You put things in perspective, and I think it's good general knowledge. But not to live, not to have a nutrition plan that is based purely on counting calories.
No, it just, it's just gonna, it just doesn't react the same within the body. You know, it just reacts different depending on what food you are. And like you always say, it's about making those better choices. So you want to be mindful, but you don't want to go to those extremes where you're weighing food, carrying them. And then again, each day you're going to burn.
Shotgun.
Your body's going to burn different amounts. Whether you're exercising, you're out, you're sitting down, it's going to be different each day. So it's very hard to know how much your body's burning each day.
And I think that's what we really do with our programs from day one. The first session with our PT clients is all about nutrition, mindset, and these lifestyle choices that are gonna have a much bigger impact than the training itself. I mean, the training is an important component,
Yes.
and it's what people also need accountability and support for, but we still make it all an educational process and show them that these are actually the more powerful elements of a program that have a bigger impact.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about unlearning what we believe to be true and what we've been told, what we've been led to believe for 20 years or our whole adult life. So
yeah, I just can't see the benefits from counting calories. You know, just from a scientific point of view, as I said, it just doesn't make sense because the body reacts differently to every single thing.
Yeah.
And no one really considers that. It's just a flat number.
Yeah.
We can't just have a flat number.
And I think it's important to look at too, when we say about a science-based approach, that means there are, you know, clinical and scientific supporting studies. But to be honest, at the end of the day, we still need to be able to take that with, you know, a perspective of understanding that, okay, these studies produce these kind of results under these circumstances, with these individuals, under these controls, at that particular time. It doesn't make it gospel, but we can be using this to say, okay, well look, they've identified some kind of protocol. How can we use this information and apply it to real life clients as well as our own methods and find out what can we produce, what kind of results can we produce more often, more consistently with clients. And I think that's what we've set out to do.
Yeah, well I can imagine every single person out there has tried the diet where they count calories.
Yeah.
And there's not many people that say they can do it long term or they can get long term results from it. Short term, yeah, you get short term results from lots of things.
Everything, yes.
But long term, that's a different picture.
Yeah. So that's really what we're trying to do here is show you that there are certain principles that we've been brought up to believe to be true. And we're just questioning everything to say, well, is it true?
Yeah.
Or does it apply to everybody? Or how can we make this process more simple and get better results in less time?
Yeah. Awesome.
Bingo. Cool. So we'll see you for the next video.